welcome back, guys, to another Old World Fanatics faction review. This time I've got Sean back, always dragging him back on, mate. How you going?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for having me on.
Almost a co-host at this point, at least with the faction folks. One of our patrons. We sorry guys, we haven't done heaps of videos. We're a bit busy. Andrew's moving house, and as you always do, but we would like to try to get through some of these factions, and so we decided to bring up the Tomb Kings. I was talking to Sean about maybe elves because he plays all the elves, but then you did bring up the fact that you've been playing against Tomb Kings lately, and obviously drew with one of our fellow patrons on the S-Bot tournament, Jelly, and now he's playing Tomb Kings. Is that right?
Yeah, playing against them. And then I recently acquired a Tomb Kings army, so I'm interested to
see that picture.
To pick your brain about what I should be doing with them.
Yeah, well, and obviously this is the first probably faction. Is it the first faction review? Yeah, this is the first faction review we've done where obviously the Arcane Journal is out. So I'm not sure. We'll probably skim through things quicker because obviously if we do line by line entry on the general sort of setup and then the Arcane Journal, we're going to be here for hours. So hopefully this one will be a little bit more focused on particular areas, and we can have a chat about what, where things have gone, what are we seeing, where it might go. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I didn't prep too much, given that I do play them, at least at the moment. But yeah, cool, man. Thanks so much for that. Well, if you haven't seen one of our faction views, and I'll try keep it in a similar format, we'll look at the sort of the main rules and breakdown of the standard, what do they call it, the Grand Army comp, and then jump to sort of the special rules and some of the things like that. Look at the characters, and then probably look at some of the magic items, because that's where I feel like you use a lot of that synergy, and then smash through some of the units, what's good, what's not, and then do a quick version of that for the Arcane Journal. We may do a bit of jumping around because I think with Tomb Kings, and I think I'm finding this with a lot of the armies, the Arcane Journals, when you can take some of the magic items in your Grand Army, key. I think it's sort of, especially like orcs or like that. Yeah. And these are similar, although, they're a bit more locked down in this book, but that's cool. Cool. So let us, so you've played them, you've got an army, played against them, you're starting to build it up. Yeah, cool. My caveat here is I've only played the Grand Army at the moment, so I've seen the other two in the AJ, but I haven't actually, I don't know. I will start looking at that. I just haven't played them yet, like in terms of the Mortuary Cult and the other ones. So all good. Cool. Let's smash into it then. I've got to actually move my cursor to the other screen so I can move it. Cool. So the Grand Army, the Tomb Kings, obviously these guys came out in 6th edition, I think, but it's good to see them back. They obviously went downhill a bit there in 8th, I think, unfortunately, in terms of their how their power. And obviously one of the launch armies there, they seem to be one of the most popular out there, obviously, because they're easy to paint and available, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how the game evolves, Sean.
With them getting the Arcane Journal.
Well, just like at the end of when it's all out, how will they go power-wise? I haven't seen too much power creep, but it's probably a little bit there with some of the Arcane Journals. Not massively, but be interesting to see. Cool. We have, I'll just run through this quickly. Standard sort of breakdown, 50%. I guess the difference here, one of the main differences with Tomb Kings is you have to take basically a wizard, a high priest or a mortuary priest, which is quite different. And you also have to take at least a Tomb King or a Tomb Prince. So it's like one of these ones where you basically have to have two characters.
Two characters off the start,
which I did see someone getting confused with that when they were trying to write a list. Old World Builders brought in like the validation now. I don't know how accurate it is, but and a poor guy was like trying to build a 1,000 point list and he couldn't work out the combination. I'm like, yeah, dude, like it's, you can't have a high priest and a Tomb King and 1,000 points. It's not going to work. Because obviously once you get to this third line, you can only have 0 to 1 Tomb Kings or a high priest per 1,000. So like if you're playing 1,000 points, you can't have both, which is a bit, it's a little bit like finicky like that, but Royal Herald and Necrotex. So, but look, it's fluffy, don't you reckon? Like, obviously the high priest keeps everyone alive and
the king's in charge, or the prince.
Yeah, at least with this list, at least, yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting. Obviously the battle standard bearer can go on the Royal Herald. And then we've got our core 25%, and you must take at least skeleton warriors or skeleton archers, which is another thing some people get stumbled on. But then other than that, you've got all the other skeletons you can use, plus tomb swarms, skeleton chariots, and then 0 to 1 unit of tomb guard or sepulchral stalkers as core choice as well. How what do you think of that one? Like I like seeing tomb guard in core. I don't think that was
it's
the
nice
case
to be able to take
sixth.
a unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. They have a lot of core options actually. Some of them are pretty similar, like skeleton archers to skeleton skirmishers. Aren't a big deal, but
yeah.
They got
It's
some good
got
options.
like straight out with core though. You can go like ambush. Well, not ambush. Well, when we get into it, yes, you can. Like with these sepulchral stalkers, you can ambush stuff. You can have big units of like tomb guard, or you can have heaps of just skeletons, or you can go all chariots. So like you have a fair bit of core options, which aren't all done. Like technically they're rubbish, but they're not because you can have so many of them. So
exactly.
Cool. 50% for special, same sort of breakdown, but now you got all that rest of the tomb guard. You got a Sharpty, the stalkers, carrion, and necroknights. 0 to 3 tomb scorpions per 1,000. 2 these are unfortunately for this the 0 to 2 Khemri and War Sphinx. This is the one they're not seeing a lot of.
They're not going.
But you can also get that as a character option. Rare is the Colossus, Necrosphinx, Screaming Skull, Catapult, 0-2 per 1,000, and 0 to 1 Casket of Souls per 1,000. So, a pretty the rare to me is pretty interesting here. I see it skewed a lot with there's only a couple of options people take, but I feel like there's a fair bit of play around which ones you want to take, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I think I guess everything but the Colossus, which is the bone giant. They're all like rare's a busy slot in Tomb Kings, it seems. And then
I don't think the Colossus are that underrated either. I just think probably the worst case about them is they don't fly, I guess, versus the Necrosphinx. But I wouldn't say they're bad by any means. I mean, the giants are pretty good in these editions, and I know the Necrosphinx. We'll get into him anyway, but and obviously you can ally. I'll skim through that. So it's a pretty standard breakdown. But yeah, the changes I like is I think it used to be like you couldn't take skeleton chariots in 6th, I think, unless you had a Tomb King General. There was like little things like that, whereas this is like, you can have it all. You can even put Tomb Guard in there, which is, I think the core was really changed, which made it useful. So
and the Tomb Scorpion restriction of 0-3 per 1,000, so you can take 6. It's like
6,
did you really need to put that in? You could just said take as many as you want, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go quickly into special rules. What makes Tomb Kings, I guess. Do you want to go 1 for 1 on these? That'd be cool. Like in terms of the lists, the items. Good. I'll so this was called the Arrows of Asaph, which is basically one of the best things for the Tomb Kings is units with this special rule, no modifiers to hit. So that's why you're always generally hitting on 5s. Occasionally 4s, depending on what you're using. So I mean that's pretty cool. I know they're just archers, but it's nice to just not think. Roll the
great.
Dice.
Cleaving blow is the rule that should be a universal special rule that isn't. Where
feels like we're always
on a 6 to wound, you can't take an armor save if you're below a monstrous infantry, basically.
Yeah, basically,
which is good.
It's not too bad. It's just it's a lot of writing for just no armor save hit.
It's a lot of writing for why can you just give them armor bane 3? And we'll carry on.
The Curse and the Necropolis. This is sort of what the Tomb Kings have. Basically, when you lose your last wound, you take a leadership test. If the test failed, the enemy unit suffers D3 strength 2 hits AP dash. The big, this is. I heard someone talking about this. I think it was the death blow with the what's called the dwarves, and saying that it's a bit of a feel bad moment when you kill something and then it hurts you back. But I think narratively, both the death blow thing, although the death blow thing you could argue just makes Slayers better, but this is a fucking mess in my it used to be such a good thing in 6th edition because when you did fail that leadership test, it was actually
real attacks.
Yes, that's I wouldn't even bother rolling. And in fact, I'm trying to think, as my Tomb King has died. Oh, maybe not to combat though. So I've never had to roll it, but it's just useless. It's the biggest. I don't know how that passed.
It's a waste. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's a curse. Like, everyone knows the mummy curse. Like, it should be bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
Not like, oh, a slight tickle.
yeah.
Dry as dust. The ball takes an unsaved wound. On a 1 to 3, the flames die out. On a 4+, takes an additional wound.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess like something with flaming attacks that might happen half the time.
Yeah. I do, like,
Not
I
a big
do
deal.
like this. I think you, like, I don't know, it's probably a bit complex, the whole regen, flammable, now drive dust, how they interact, which is, again, old
Yeah.
world's complex. But I do like the fact that that this, like, I think it was double wounds before. So, like, this hurts you, but it's not, like, critical, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool. So it's almost like they could have used this as the flammable rule or something a little bit more and kept the regen, or I don't know, because it sort of just makes that a little bit more deadly, but not, like, crushingly bad,
Yeah.
So, and then Indomitable X, which is basically, just reducing down your unstable losses. The unstable rule, which that's probably in the next page, but that's what undead get. That's, you obviously crumble down by the number of wounds you lost combat, and this just reduces that. And it's just not stackable either. Excuse me. So that's the only
Yeah.
thing to think about. Yeah.
And then Kopesh is just AP -1 on your hand weapons, I
Yeah.
think.
That's
I feel like it's a bit more restricted in Tomb Kings. Like, I don't think this just skeleton warriors have Kopeshes.
probably not. Yeah, I can't remember
Yeah.
which
So,
ones.
but
Yeah,
like
often.
Tomb Guard do.
Yeah, it really makes the Tomb Guard interesting. Like, do you take the sword and board? You still get AP1, but you get more strength for the halberd at
Yeah.
AP1. So it's like, what do I want?
Yeah.
Some of these rules, I wish they did a bit more like the chopper, where it's like it just applies
To
any,
everything.
Yeah, because they're not that. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that critical.
No.
Now the Hikaran Phalanx, which is in close order, rather than give ground, as long as you've got shield, may choose not to give ground should you lose a round of combat. Unless, of course, the unit strength is more than twice yourself, basically. This is one of these interesting rules that when I first read Old World, when it came out, I was like, why would you use that? But
Yeah.
it's these things that are nuanced, and then you go, oh, there's actually some really cool uses for this, especially the cost of it, which we'll get to. It's nothing, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Nikaran Undead is the big one for being an undead. Same as vampires, where they all have fear, immune to psychology, unbreakable, and unstable. And yeah, I mean, unstable, you lose wounds based on how badly you fail your leadership, right?
It's not even the leadership; it's just what you lose.
Or the break test.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
break. Like, you don't take any leadership. You just if you lose by 3, you crumble by 3. Yeah. It's a little bit different to the undead. So not undead. What's it called? The demon instability, where you actually are taking a leadership. Yeah. So one thing I like about this army, and maybe it's funny. I started out with orcs, and I was an orc person, but I'm not a big gambler, and so I probably shouldn't have played orcs. The thing I like about Tomb Kings is it's just almost simple. Like, half the rules don't apply. I don't need it. Even though, so if someone's out there like wanting to know why you do Tomb Kings and undead in general, it's a little bit simpler, but not at the same time. Like, you have to keep your guy alive and all that, which we'll get to. Anyway, that's interesting. And then we got Resurrecting the Fallen. So, I think this is the same as vampires. Can't remember, but basically, when you raise things back up, we'll get to how you do that. First, any characters that are joined have to be healed up, and then any models with more than one wound on their profile, and then rank and file, starting with the champ through the what's called the standard bearer, then muso, and then your rank and file. So I like the fact that characters, like, it's actually, if you've got a character in there, he has to get healed. That was a change, and yeah, it's pretty powerful given the fact that characters obviously cost a lot of points, and if they're infantry, if they're in there, like, you're getting a fair bit back, which is pretty cool. I won't go into the lore. Yeah, so that's cool. So let's jump to starting to go through the characters, because the first 2 probably have the most rules with them. Do you want to take this one, or do you want me to take Which one?
Yeah, you can take the monarchs. Yeah.
Yeah. So the monarchs are like your fighty, like king guys. So basically, you got the Tomb King, the Tomb Prince. Different to a lot of the armies, these guys are pretty damn tough. So they're starting out. Both of them are tough 5. Not the best weapon skill, but not bad. Like they can usually, take on most characters. They tanky more than attack, like, offensive output type thing. They've got the same sort of attacks you'd expect, but they've got 1 more wound than of a lot of the other characters out there as well. So the Tomb King's got 4 attacks, 4 wounds at tough 5. It's a pretty tanky guy, considering, like against humans and even elves. They're pretty good. And then they can go on a lot of stuff. They can go on chariots and go on. We'll get into the mounts in a minute, but you can mix them in match where whatever you're choosing in your core, you can probably fit these guys in if you want. They've got that curse. They've got the dry as dust. They're flammable. That's sort of the negative part about it. Indomitable 2, regen 5. I guess that's the other thing. The entire army has regen 6, except some of these characters and things and monsters. Some of them have regen 5, so that's pretty cool. And then both of these guys get the My Will Be Done. Actually, sorry, I should have said 2. Leadership 10 for the Tomb King and 9. Yeah. So pretty high leadership army with these guys, providing they're in the bubble. My Will Be Done is basically a command subphase leadership test for the Tomb King or the Tomb Prince, which usually they do pass. And if so, they get a plus D3 movement up to max 10, plus 1 weapon skill or plus D3 initiative. Special rules not cumulative, using more than once in the same unit during the same turn. Yeah, so if you have 2 of these guys in a unit, can't join them up. Sorry if you can hear my dog. Always happens when I start recording. So pretty good. Like, as I said, they don't have a great weapon skill, but when you get +1, they start getting into
just
that range
+1.
where people don't hit them on 3s. It's pretty good.
Like 7. 7 is pretty high.
Yeah, and then making your unit. It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then making a unit move or go faster initiative-wise, pretty important. So you tend to see people using, movement and stuff initially, and then when they're getting into combat, making that decision. If you're in a unit, you might be throwing it on the initiative, but if you're trying to go character on character, you're probably using your weapon skill. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, let me just check this. Okay, you can't. No, so the weapon skill does go on the whole unit as well. It's not just the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think they're a great combat character.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. Strength 5 T5 is very good.
I used to love there was a magic item in 6 where you give him an extra wounds. They'd have tough 5 wounds, like just as a dude on he was pretty tanky.
Yeah. The Royal Heralds are basically your battle standard bearer. They also give you Indomitable D3, so you got to roll. It might be good. Right. Sworn Protectors you'll never use. Cool. That's
the transfer, the hit one, isn't
they
it?
can take a hit.
I've thought of that, doing that, and I probably could have in one of my tournaments had like the dragon in front of the Tomb Guard unit, and my dragon eventually died right at the end after I killed the Chaos Lord on the dragon. And I don't know if you heard my battle report at the time. Actually, I could have lived if I rolled higher on my Indomitable, but I didn't. But I was looking at that later, going, "Oh, it's within 3 inches. I wonder if he was in 3 inches."
You could have transferred the wound over.
Just destroyed my BSB, transferred the wound.
Okay, so maybe it'll work, but it's just a hit. You can transfer the hit.
You'd have to know that you care. Like, you wouldn't care usually, but like in something like that where you're like, I can't lose this guy right now. It's you've hit him now, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. He jumps in front of the dragon.
The best thing with these guys is the hold your ground rule. Royal Heralders upgraded replaces the hold.
Yes.
Below. Where is?
Because it's the undead, so they just get to reroll any failed leadership test, which is huge for your arises. Right?
Massively. Yeah. Any of these, and re-rolling your My Will Be Done, and
your My Will Be Done.
re-rolling what's it called? Screams. If people try to scream against you and you're leadership 10 anyway. And then, so there's being able to reroll leadership tests, just awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got the guys who actually keep everything alive, the leech priests. So again, you need to take at least one of these guys. Apart from that, they're sort of humans, but the high priest is slightly tougher at tough 4, which is not too bad. Probably don't want these guys in combat, although unless they're mounted. No. And standard sort of level 3, level 1 guys that can upgrade to level 4, level 2. And the 3 spell decks you get with these guys: elementalism, illusion, necromancy. So you're really deciding. I tend to see a lot of people mostly going elementalism and necromancy. Necromancy for all the leadership debuffs. But again, depending on your build and stuff, illusion's got some good ones.
I can, especially in mortuary cult, where you can get bonuses to cast to make those. Because illusion, a lot of the good spells are pretty high casting values.
Pretty high, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we have, so these guys have the Rise rule, which is basically what we talked about before, is actually allowing you to raise them up in that order that we were talking about. So leadership tests within 12 inches. You basically cast on a unit, and then you've got, that raise that we were talking about. Now, the only thing is it's down to wizard level, like for infantry, it's wizard level plus D3, Cav is wizard level +1. So obviously, I won't need to go through them, but obviously the bigger something is, the less you do raise. But it's a leadership test, so you get to re-roll that with the BSB. And it's free, it's not a spell, which is heaps good compared to some of the old editions where people just can't stop it, which is good.
Yeah.
They've also got, and they're regen 5, all that sort of stuff. But the other cool thing is they have the Beneath the Sands one, which is basically another command subphase. Here's another one you can reroll. And choose a single friendly unit that has the Neokar and Undead and Ambush special rule that's currently held in reserve, and attempt to summon it by making a leadership test using their own leadership. If the test is passed, you can put it within 12 inches of your model, but as long as it's not within 6 inches, counts as shooting. If they fail, the ambush is paid no heed and delayed until the controlling player's next turn. Now, I'm off the top of my head, I'm getting confused as to how this is ruled. I wasn't sure how this is ruled with normal ambush 4+ rule, because this is taken at the command subphase. Whereas the ambush is at start of turn, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
So I've heard people now saying you can't use either. You got to choose, or you got to do one or not the other. But I wasn't sure I haven't actually run into that too much.
Yeah, I thought that the ambushers came in later. So because it says that if they don't heed the call, they're delayed until the next turn. You don't get to roll ambushers. But
let me just bring that up. The only thing I don't get is the beginning of round 2, roll d6 during each of your start of turn subphase. For each unit ambush on a 4 up, the unit arrives. If not, it's delayed until your next turn at least, which is just weird because it feels like it's start of turn. So you roll that, and then this comes in, but if you failed your ambushes, then they're delayed. So I don't know if it was FAQ'd or not, but it's I think it needed a bit of clarification. I can't
Okay, yeah, you're right. So the start of turn subphase before the command subphase. So I guess you could choose to ambush. You could try and roll ambush, and then if you fail, you could try and summon them up.
Yeah, because that's the thing, because they're already held in reserve, so therefore that's what I thought you could do, but then other people were saying you can't now, you got to choose either or. So I wasn't sure how that's ruled. It'd be interesting to see what people's comments are on that. Having said that, I haven't used a lot of these because I haven't been doing any massive ambushing armies, so I should have probably looked at what the general consensus is before this. And then more rules for the army. Hierophant. Obviously, one of these guys has to be the Hierophant. Has to be the highest level if there's more than 2. Basically, as soon as he's removed from play, all friendly units lose their regen. They have to all take a leadership test, and it's like an unstable. They lose wounds based on their failure of that, which sometimes isn't too bad, because if you've got, like, say, the Tomb King around Leadership Town, you usually can stay alive. Losing the regen sucks. That's almost the worst part. And obviously you've lost your spellcaster, so that's another pain.
Yeah.
And you can't pass it on. The other editions used to like pass it down, but Hierophant down to the next one, but now that's it. And then at the start of sub-phase of every other turn, so not just yours, but enemies, twice a turn you're taking this test. So yeah, if you're around a Tomb King, you probably survive. But yeah,
fair on your own.
Yeah.
Okay. The Necrotect is an interesting little guy who, for 55 points, basically he's doing another leadership test to give the unit +1 attack and hatred to all enemies, which are crazy good buffs.
Yeah.
But he's only on foot. And if you could put him on a chariot, that would be really nice. Yeah, it would be. Exactly. It would actually be broken, probably, because I think the +1 attack would apply to like each of the profiles. So you get the +4 attacks. Anyways, it doesn't. You can't do it. Yeah. So he's still, I think either in Tomb Guard or even just in any skeletons, skeleton archers, even skeleton archers. I think like even in the archer block, because he can take another challenge if you have your battle standard bearer in there, right?
Nah, 100%. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
And then you can raise your champion back up. So it's like another turn. It's like 2 extra turns of.
Yeah, you basically, and I found that the other day when I was playing against a Beastman army, I was like, you really would like, like if you want to keep, say, your wizards, move them out of that big block, which is probably getting ahead of ourselves, but like the fact that you can raise your champ back up, they're really good at tanking characters. But obviously, if you get charged and your champ will die on that first one, the next turn you're going to get nailed. So having like 2 character type things in a unit are pretty useful. So given that this guy's 55 points, and a level 1 mortuary priest is pretty cheap too, but again, you're probably using him for something else. So he's definitely worth taking. I just find I end up points, depends on how you get on your list.
Okay, cat.
And then for mounts, Skeleton Steed. The weird thing with this one, really annoying, and maybe it was deliberate, I don't know, but he's heavy cav, so he can't go in the skeleton horse archers as such, because they're light cav, and skirmishing, providing they're skirmishing. It's a bit annoying because no one takes heavy cav. They're just non-existent in this army, because we'll get to that. But skeleton chariot, as I said, some can. All the everyone outside the Necrotech and the Leech Priest can jump in a chariot. Then the Khemri and War Sphinx, which we'll cover when we go through monsters. Haven't seen too many Tomb Kings on them. Or the Tomb King on the Necro Bone Dragon as well. And the High Priest can go on that as well. So that's the new model, obviously everyone knows about. Well worth, even, again, we'll probably get into it, even with the High Priest. Yes, you probably don't want to put, the general consensus is keep your Hierophant out, but I mean, the Bone Dragon is so tanky as well, and you can raise yourself a bit, at least a little bit. It's definitely an option, I wouldn't say it's a bad choice.
I think it's a good option.
Nothing. The best thing about chariots, well, we'll get to it in the normal unit, is reserve move on them too. So we'll just cover that in a minute. Before I jump to Tomb Guard, let's just chew through some of the magic items that you might take with these guys. So we've got the magic weapons, Destroyer of Eternity, 75 point. I don't know. I'd probably go.
Too expensive.
Probably not great.
Yeah.
It's a strike last. It's like a great weapon with killing blow, basically. Except this, where is it? The scything attack. You can do D6 automatic hits instead.
But you have 4 attacks.
If it was a bit more. Yeah, if it was a bit more like not swingy, you know what I mean? Like if it was D3 plus something attacks, you might go, maybe, but like 4 attacks.
Yeah.
Crook and Flail, Monarchs again only. It's just a -1 AP, but it's extra attacks, D3, magical attack, strike first, requires 2 hands. Wouldn't say it's bad, it's just 50 points.
Yeah.
That's the,
and
getting extra attacks there.
Your base strength only AP -1.
Yeah. Sorry, I took that one off you. You can do the next two if you
want. Flail Skulls, strength +3, AP1. Multi-wounds 2, requires 2 hands. But it only applies during the first round. That actually seems... going up to strength 8 on a king. Like, again, let down by AP -1, I guess.
Yeah. I've seen people do this with... because this can go on anything. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if you want to, but doing it with... If you go double dragon or you want to put your Hierophant in combat on a dragon and it got illusion, this is a potential... if you want to freak someone out and go, oh, what the hell, you are being aggressive with your Hierophant, or at least your level 4 if you got 2 of them. It's an option with illusion with multi-wounds too. Is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the next one... Serpent Staff is Lich Priest only, so again, really you're looking at Illusion and Doppelganger for strength +2, AP -2, and poison. Yeah, I mean, for 20 points, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Especially when you get into that mortuary cult, like you're saying, where you are taking... you don't have a Tomb King, so it's pretty interesting. Here's probably the best armor in the game. Armor of Ages, 50 points. It's just light armor, but re-rolling successful rolls to wound against the wearer. So obviously what you do see is this guy on the Tomb King, on a dragon, tough 6. Re-rolling successful wounds. I mean, it's just such a tanky item.
Yeah, and so sort of the clarification now, though, is that you're stuck with your light armor of 6+. I guess a 5+ with a shield, but...
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You
can do a 5 up, 5 up, 5 up,
incredible.
Though, which is pretty good. Yeah. I always find, too, with characters these days, it's almost like they don't have armor anyway. Unless you're like unless you're like a Cav High Elf or a Chaos or a Dwarf. I think most aren't. Like even Orcs. I guess you'd argue you do have a 3-up save and stuff with some of the Black Orcs, 2-ups. But like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't matter. Everyone's after Regen and Ward anyway at that point. You don't care.
Yeah.
So, Shooter Petrard, 25 points. It's a shield, -1 modifier to their weapon skill characteristic. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have the highest weapon skill to begin with.
Yeah. I'll let you do the next 2 because I stole 2 again.
Crown of Kings. During the command phase, if you're not in combat, you can resurrect fallen warriors, certain number. Yeah. It's monarch only.
D3 plus, and it's only skilling warriors, archers, horse archers. It is a common, so I think
you could have multiple, but
I don't see it much, but I could imagine you might see it in those we'll get to it, but the other one, the royal, what's it called? The
royal host. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, no Tomb Kings or wounds on chariots makes that seem like
it has to be one that's just you've spammed out just skeleton crap. But again, it's only D3 plus 1 too, so you might as well just have wizards. They'll do way more.
Yeah, and you can't be in combat, so it's not. Yeah. Seems okay. Collar of Shepesh, single use. When you lose your last wound on a 4+, the wound is not lost, and instead you kill someone else, one of your friendly models. I don't know how those ones work if you have taken a bunch of wounds. Right? Like if you take 6 wounds and you die on the 2nd wound, did the other 4 just disappear? Or do you roll your 4 up and then take more?
I think you take more.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it's a bit. These ones could have been just cheaper and you might throw it on, but.
Yeah, like points. Comparing it to High Elves who have a 2+ ward save for 20 points.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know what this is good for. Anyway. Because,
And then the standards of Cursing Word, this is an 80 points, so it's got to be on the BSB. At the end of any phase in which one of the models joined by the wearer of the standard lost its last wound, take a leadership test. If the test has failed, D3 strength 2 AP. So it's basically that curse thing, which is ridiculous anyway. And then on top of that, they tried to charge 80 points for it. So no thanks.
Yeah, that is just terrible. Okay.
Terrible. Yeah.
Icon of the Sacred Eye, +1 modifier to weapon skill, 50 points. I've seen it. Yeah, seems decent on Tomb Guard and Chariots.
Yeah, it's good. It is expensive, 50 points.
It is expensive.
I feel like that could have been a little bit down, but I think if it was a lot cheaper, you would see it all over the place. That's probably okay, I guess. But yeah, you do that, team that up with, your Tomb King rule. You're getting those dudes up to pretty high weapon skills potentially.
Yeah,
so
5. Yeah,
even skeleton strength, weapon skill 4 with both of them happening, which is kind of crazy.
It's not the big red raggedy flag, which I think is
No.
also 50 points.
Yeah,
It gives you +1 combat resolution as well.
Combat res, is it? Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Bit of a shame. Icon of Rakaf used to be bloody awesome. 40 points, unless making a charge move, a unit carrying the Icon of Rakaf may perform a single reform at any point during its movement. Look, not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but and interestingly, maybe with the FAQ where they've clarified movement is anything, this becomes better. So it's not just your remaining moves like moving around, doing a reform. As long as you're not charging, anytime you get someone moves or you touch the unit, you can just reform. Probably not as bad as I thought it was, to be honest.
Oh, that just they didn't think about that. Like, like if you're making an overrun, can you reform to face a different direction? Like reform 90 degrees and then roll your pursuit move?
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. Like, at any point. Yeah. Well, yeah, I reckon it's up for abuse, this one, a little bit now that they've clarified in a way, but not. It used to be cool because you used to be able to reform and charge, so that was even freaking better. But yeah.
No, now I could see it on overruns and pursuit moves. If you can just change the direction that you're doing your overrun in. Anyways, I don't know if it works that way, but Mirage Banner, -1 to be hit by shooting, which is actually pretty great for 20 points, but except that Tomb Kings don't really care that much about shooting because you're just going to resurrect those guys anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of these ones where, I haven't tended to take it. That used to be my given in 6 because it used to be that, but a 5-up ward against. Which way was it? Was it template weapons? Was a 5-up ward, but against normal BS shooting, it was -1 to hit.
Okay.
So I thought it was pretty cool, but that was only they sort of scrapped that other part. Enchanted items, Cloak of Dunes, 50 points. You get Fly 9. You can only do this on an infantry model. And then when you fly over people on your remaining moves, you D6 strength 2, AP -1 hits. Look, you see it a lot, although more and more I'm seeing people like myself drop out of it and just use the flying carpet because you're paying more points for this flyover, but you don't want to fly over people anyway. You're usually getting away, so it's like it is. I think it's useful, but it's and then obviously you can't go in a unit when you're flying. So
that's what I was thinking because the flying carpet says specifically that you can't join a unit. So I was like, I initially thought, maybe this is good because you can hop in and out. But I think flying models can't join units anyways.
The fly rule in general says you can't join units without fly. So, if there was another flying infantry unit, you could join it, but there isn't, so as I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the next one?
Icon of Rulership, 35 points. Chariots only, doubles its unit strength. And any impacts hits are AP -2 and magical. But that only applies to you. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's common, but
the only thing I thought with this, and I mean, again, you're throwing points into something, you'd find you don't have the points for this, but if you actually had like a fairly smallish unit of chariots with like, Tomb Prince and a Herald in or whatever, and then you had both of these on it, suddenly your unit strength's bigger. So if you hit things like I wonder if you could go and like use that as a big, medium unit clearer. Going around and hitting stuff with say unit strength 10, your impact hits are better. Hopefully you wipe more out than usual. And then because you've got a big unit strength, you're breaking them. But yeah, I don't know. It's still,
it basically makes you a magical heavy chariot, which is pretty nice. Like you then disrupt it. If there's more infantry in the game, you would be disrupting ranks.
True.
If you got on the flank.
Yeah.
And are chariots close order? No.
No, they're probably open. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So it's not otherwise it would be giving you +1 to the combat res for being over unit strength 5.
Yeah, that's true because that's been clarified. Yeah, so it's yeah, it looks cool, but then you go, can't fit it in. It's not that great. Death Mask is 20 points to give the wearer terror. Good. That's you do see that pop around, especially depending on your build, what you're trying to do with it. So
yeah, 20 points seems like a good deal for terror.
Yeah.
And
I'm still coughing and you're coughing as well.
Yeah. Single use, command phase, non-engage in combat. They can attempt to unleash its contents for making a leadership test. They dispel all remains in play spells. It's like,
yeah. Well, I was close to taking this for my Castle Assault list. Only because and again, I haven't done enough tournaments to know, but you know how like there was some option where a lot of people were starting to see a lot of like, a
lot of pillars of fire
hanging around and stuff. Yeah. And because you're a wizard and you want to stay out of the ranges a bit, and most of the time when people are doing that, they're keeping their wizards away as well. The biggest issue here is single use. I feel like if it was something that was, I don't know. I guess it's probably OP if you can do it all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, the wording is, I've talked about the wording with some other people with similar items where it's single use, single attempt, or do you get to try and do it until it works? And then, I don't know.
It's unclear. Don't know, and I thought there was another item that was a bit like that, and I can't remember which way it got ruled, but it's a really good point. I almost feel like you're using it even if you fail, I think.
Yeah, I think probably too. I certainly, if there's a bunch of pillars of fire around.
It's a meta choice, really. Yeah, if you think you need it. The Heretic Jar, you do see these guys a little bit, 25 points, common, single use. Basically, you can do a rise special rule twice during this command subphase rather than the usual once. For 25 points, again, depending on what you're doing, if you've got a big tanky, not even, it's always pretty useful because even if you're in range of your general who's on a dragon, now you can heal 2 wounds on him, rather than 1. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely for 25 points, it's pretty good.
It's not bad. The Scarab Brooch, when using from beneath the sands, the summoning can be placed anywhere complete within 18 inches of the priest instead of 12, which is, I was looking at that on someone on the magic carpet.
Yep.
To sneak up there, and then that's really, it really extends the range of where you can summon those things up. More in the mortuary cult list.
Yes.
Where it's
there's a lot more useful ambushes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well that's there is more awesome ones in the Arcane Journal, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's smash through some of these. I was going to say, no, it is. Wow, Tomb Guard are first off the block, are they? Not Skeleton Warriors. Didn't even notice that. It's weird. These are your elite heavy. Well, they're not heavy. They're just regular infantry, but they're the best sort of fighters you're going to get, and they're not that great. But anyway, they're weapon skill 3, BS 3, strength 4, tough 4. So slightly, tankier than they used to be. Well, I don't know if they used to be, but they still die in droves. The weapon skill 3 really hurts them, I reckon. But look, if you need a fighty infantry unit, this is the only one you got, so you have to go with it. It's 10 points a model, sword and board basically, unless you upgrade to halberds for a point, which I think still strength 4 AP 1 with Kopesh technically, or you could choose to go +1 and go to strength 5 AP 1 the whole time. So it really depends on who you think you're fighting against. And if you're going to pick that 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 can have the Neokar and Phalanx special rule. So depending, because you need the shield for that guy. Although you only need a shield, don't you? So you could still pick halberds.
I think you have to use the shield.
Oh, okay,
no, I think it required that you use the shields for it to work.
Okay, right, yeah, cool. They can have drilled too, which is awesome. And then, close order, they got cleaving blows, so they're the guys killing infantry and cav if they roll 6. Regen 6 up. And I haven't seen this a lot, but regimental unit. So I guess, a bit more play. I just think this game has so much to offer. So like you probably might see people start to play around with big block of Tomb Guard and detachments of archers, and for combat res. They become quite interesting, especially if you got your characters in here and it's like, well, someone has to get in combat with them at some point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, do you think is drilled useful? Because you can't march with them anyways.
Right? I think it'd be more for like if you're about to take a charge or a reform or a give ground, stuff like that, and then you just go wide and then smash them back.
Yeah.
It's more for that point, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's true, because you don't get the fallback in good order and reform like other armies do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on the give ground that you just go, no, well, I'll drill.
Okay.
Out of
it. Okay.
Yeah. Or either way.
That's cool.
Great models too. I think they're probably the better looking models that the Tomb King have.
Skeleton Warriors, 4 points for skeleton. Comes with hand weapon shield. You gotta buy spears for a point, light armor for a point. You can get Nakaran phalanx for 10 points per unit, so that's pretty cheap. 1 unit per 1,000 points can take a 50-point magic banner, which is quite good for. I don't know if there's that many banners that you want to put on them, but okay, they're just skeletons. I think
that? Yeah, so the phalanx here was plus 1 points per model, whereas I thought this one is for a this is why I went and built 60 of these guys. I haven't actually used them yet, but because the idea of just having a massive block of these with spears, with phalanx, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay there the whole game and get healed up. It's an interesting
and they do have
idea.
They have horde too for 1 more rank bonus. That's nice. And 6 up regen.
Yeah.
I think that they're
definitely usable.
Definitely usable.
And then the awesome one, skeleton archers. So these guys hitting on 5s, 5 points per model. The Master of Arrows actually hits on 4s, so you got to remember roll that separate dice if you take him, and you will take him because you'll have other things in that unit that you need to you need to what's it called, take a challenge with. Open order, very important because these guys get a free pivot. Obviously you can't march with undead, so worst case these guys are moving 4 inches up, but sometimes you might not want to move. You don't care about moving anyway. It's the
I guess just for volley fire.
Anyway. Unless you're doing the volley fire, exactly. But being able to pivot that 90 is awesome. And obviously the other thing which happened, you told me about it and I think that's how you played it, but I didn't realize that against large targets, these guys all get to fire, and then that's where this becomes kind of insane, at least from my point of view, that you can put a poison banner in here and these guys are hitting on 5s with poison. So
I think the fact that they have to take a character to get the items though is like a bit of a balance. Because they don't have any magic item allotment.
Is it in the? Am I right?
It's
one of the items. The Royal Host can do it, which we'll get there. I think it is anyway.
I think it is Royal Host.
Yeah.
Skirmishers are the same thing, but in skirmish formation, basically.
Except
you got to buy the
for
war
some
bows.
reason.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I've never noticed that before. Okay. So you got to buy them their bow or their shield. You can give them ambushers. Don't think you would. They are chariot runners.
They're Vanguard
and
too.
Vanguard.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot a whole 5-inch move forward. I think I keep forgetting they've got Vanguard. Knew that.
So they're good.
Thingy. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they run around and always sit on 5s, anyways.
Yeah, that's good. Sharp D, 49 points. Monstrous Infantry is probably a little bit questionable, I think, in this game anyway at the moment. But I don't know what you find, but weapon skill 4, strength 4, tough 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks. Ritual Blades is that the one that's it's basically like a great weapon with a better AP. So -3 AP. So if you got them, they can strength 6, they'll do some damage. Probably just trying to get into combat in the first place without dying. They've only got regen 6. I think if these guys had regen 5, and that's obviously you can sort of do that with some of these other lists in a way with the mortuary. I think it's the mortuary cult. But the other option is just switch them over to the great bows For free, if you want to sort of do more firing units, that's a 30-inch range great bow, strength 6, AP -1, armor bane 2, multi wound 2, and volley fire. You're probably not going to use that, but if you're good at rolling 4 up because I've got a BS3, these guys are good. If you're not, probably leave them at home. So it just depends. They're better than they used to be. I'll give them that. You never saw them. But
it's a bit of a gamble. You're probably gonna have, I don't know. You're not gonna have more than 6.
No.
So then you're hoping for 3 hits, and then wound with a couple of them.
So I've taken them twice in the game, and usually to like to try take out like some unit coming in, and I've failed both times. Even though I'm like rolling 4 or 5 dice, rolling 4s, and then I ended up rolling like 4 1s or something. Like, damn it. So even when you got that spell up on them that rerolls 1s, it's I think they're good, but your dice have to be on fire there a bit. Sorry, and my wife just sent me a text. Let me just answer her quickly.
I think the fact that you can resurrect them back makes them more survivable than they otherwise would be with 4 wounds. Or
true.
Toughness 4, 3 wounds.
Yeah,
because they're pretty squishy for their price.
Cool. Tomb Swarms.
Tomb Swarms. 5 wounds, toughness 2, 5 attacks, 37 points. Poison, region 6 up, skirmishers. Move 5. I mean they're a decent little swarm, I think. I think Mortuary Cult tends to take them more often because they sacrifice them to bump up the magic. Oh, you muted, Gommo.
Sorry, mate. Yep. Yes, they would, wouldn't they, with the sacrifice stuff? Yeah. Poison attack. I haven't used a lot of swarms. I probably need to get in there and start doing that, and maybe even use the new models. But should try them out a bit more.
Yeah, I guess they feel expensive, a bit expensive for a chaff unit, though.
I hate that they like 2 to 10. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like, now it's like almost 80 points for.
Yeah, I know, and they still die. I mean, unless you can somehow raise them back up in time. But anyway. Carrion. I don't mind these guys, but again, it's one of these things I find that they're the first thing to go on the list. So 2+ unit size. They're fly 10 though. Tough 4, 2 wounds, 3 attacks each. Weapon skill 3, 27 points. So you're looking at 54 points for fly 10, 6 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength. Like they'll take war machines out and stuff. Skirmishers. So you're still not getting a -1 to hit them because you're not unit strength 1. So I like the idea of them, but I always find that I guess it depends on what type of meta you're in. Where you think if you need a lot of fly, then maybe they're an option. But
I almost wonder, like, as a big unit, they'd be good at. They would be very good at bogging down dragons. Because they're just as fast, and they have a 360 line of sight with skirmisher.
Yeah, true. But, and the bigger they are, and the bigger the skirmish unit is, the more chance you're in range to heal them.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting.
But just as a unit of 2, they're very similar to a Great Eagle, which is pretty good. Like,
what's the Great Eagle's cost?
It's 60 points.
Okay.
So you get an extra 50. Wound, but you're not as good at fighting.
Yeah, right. But you got 6 attacks because you get a unit of 2.
Yeah, and the eagle actually doesn't have skirmish, and it's a monster, so it doesn't see very well.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah. So they're interesting. I just have found that I've competed with other stuff, and then I end up usually scorpions, and then I end up going, I've dropped the carrion. But I do I used to love them in 6th, and just having that. You don't have enough, apart from your dragon flying around and your necrosphinx, you don't have a lot of fly. So, like, they definitely have I'd definitely keep looking at them and thinking about them. You get the fun one.
Skeleton Horsemen.
Should we skip this one?
11 points. They're close order, but they only have a shield. They don't even have. Oh, you can buy them light armor, so you can get to a 5-up save with your close order cavalry.
With your heavy cav 5-up save. It's just stupid. Yeah.
They have Horde. They don't have any of the good cavalry rules. Oh, you can buy them countercharge. But what are they? They're weapon skill 2 with a cavalry spear. Yeah. Or if you buy them the spear.
Yeah, it's just
they're just not good. Yeah.
You do see these guys: skeleton, horse, archers. Again, hitting on 4s. Reserve move for these guys. They got short bows. Can have the chariot special rule if chariot runner special rule. I haven't actually used that, but I mean you can. Open order, regen 6, reserve, scout, skirmishers, swift stride. So you can choose to put them right up the board somewhere, or you can just reserve move them all every time. And so, obviously they're a bit of a chaff unit as well. But the more I've been starting to try and keep them alive, keep them out of, because even with the 24-inch archers, they can. The reserve move does allow you to get in range, shoot, and get out of there, and just be annoying. So they're good.
Yeah, you really want to put your wizard in there, but because the wizard's horse doesn't have reserve move, or
he's also heavy cav.
Is that the problem? It's heavy cav.
Yeah, because I think skirmish. The rule with the skirmisher is it has to be the exact type.
Yeah.
To join the unit, I think, or whatever. I think he still gets a bit of that. I think he still gets the cover bit, the within 3 inches, because that's just type.
Yeah, cavalry type.
So that's okay, but he won't get reserve move because he's not in the unit, which therefore.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately. Otherwise, that might be a bit broke anyway because they can run around and stay out of range, reserve move.
Yeah. Necropolis Knights are monsters cavalry for 54 points, strength 4, toughness 4, a weapon skill 4, which is good for Tomb Kings. They have quite a few attacks. Each model's doing 5 attacks, 3 from the serpent, 2 from the guy, but they don't really have any AP. The knight would have Kopesh or cavalry spear for AP1, but they do have an impact hit, which is sort of cool. So that's a lot of attacks actually.
Yeah, you consider an impact hit if you get a charge. Yeah.
But they don't have any of the other cavalry rules like counter charge or first charge.
Nope. Yeah, and they do have poison attacks on those, 3 attacks. 4-up save. Yeah, they're not bad. I think it's just 54 points. And then when you start adding those characters in, they just get really expensive. And at the end of the day, anything that's tough 4 with a save of 5 up or less, it just ends up can get killed over time, just even from missile fire. So
with the armored hide, they are at a 4 up, and then you do have your regen, so they're not bad, but they're expensive.
I think it's just playing them right. I think when I used them once in the first game, I got charged and they just got wiped out. So I think if you're better at it and you can actually get charges off, they are swift stride, movement 7. They're options. I like is it 9th age where you can put a dude on it, they can be used as a mount for I can't remember what. What it is in 9th.
Yeah, if there were characters who could ride the snakes, that would
even a herald. Even if no one else could, Tomb Kings couldn't, but a herald could. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But even just for the look of it. Sepulchral Stalkers, these are basically just the snakes, but in a way. Well, actually not. They are different, the snakes. The snake's the other one. They only got 2 attacks, 3 wounds, weapon skill 3, heavy armor. You can pay extra to get, 54 points, you get them ambushes, which means then you can use those other rules, beneath the sands, bring them up. Indomitable 1. But this tail it's extra attacks D3. So that's an extra attack. So you get 2 attacks and then you get an extra D3. So which is not too bad. And then this petrifying gaze, you look at it initially, this is cool. We're making roll to wound, substitute toughness, the target's toughness with its initiative. It's an 18-inch strength 2, but it's a shooting thing. So you're attacking with BS3. So you're hitting on 4s. No, you're not, because it's not that. So it's a weapon skill 4, but you don't get, most things are going to be maybe long range movement. Like if it didn't have the penalty to hit,
it doesn't have the
be
arrows rule,
useful.
so
Yeah. So you're going to be hitting on like 5s or 6s, and only like you're going to take a unit of 2 or 3 of these, so they're not going to be many hits. And then on top of that, because of the way the 2 wound thing rolls, it's really only useful against, dwarves and orcs and stuff, or other undead. It's a bit of a miss, unfortunately. Although I think the mortuary cult, is it the mortuary cult? Which was the one that?
The mortuary cult has just the snakes.
The others, maybe I'm getting confused. Yeah, with those dudes. Yeah.
Skeleton chariots. Yeah, they're a light chariot. 43 points for strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds. 2 crew, 2 horses. They have reserve move, which is great. Impact hits D3. Horde, which you're probably not going to use. The arrows of the
makes me wonder why they did that.
So you could go 3. You could have a unit of 9.
Yeah.
3 wide and get +2 rank bonus.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do that. But reserve move is great. So they shoot not bad actually. For their points.
2 shots and 5 up. Yep.
Yeah. And the impact hits, some armies really don't like getting hit with the impact hits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, and the thing I've been using a lot lately is just taking them by themselves. 43 points for movement 16 in a turn for an undead army. That's, it's probably one of the best chaff, because 43 points. You lose it. But you can also, like you said, you can occasionally take some things out, like little skirmishing units or something. Try and get the impact hits in and do a little bit before you die, It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I did play against a bigger unit of 6 or 8. And his thought was they would combo charge with the dragon to double outnumber things.
Yes. Yep.
Because they're, I think they're 3 unit strength each. So
well, when you could combo the casket, well, even if you can't now, like with the -1 to hit thing, that's one of the games I was playing. I was doing the dragon and them, because they're so big footprint. You're generally in range of your casket, which is really good. So there is some good things with them. You got a lot of options, and obviously you can take the Tomb Kings, Tomb Princes, the Heralds in these units. So you can really if you just go Tomb Princes, you can really crank these guys up with some decent characters in the front, so you're not getting too wiped out. The Bone Dragon. So we get into the first of the mounts here. Oh, we covered some of the other mounts. Well, chariots are a mount, so we just talked about that.
Yeah.
But this Bone Dragon, it's a pretty decent dragon. I don't know if it's where it sits in the hierarchy. It's obviously not as good as some of the. What's the best Star
the
Dragon?
House,
is it?
Yeah,
and
the Star Dragon.
Lord Dragon are better, but other than that, he sits pretty good. He's movement 6 too, so if you get hit with that falcon horn, you can at least still move around. Weapon skill 4's there, but strength 6. You'll basically make your characters toughness 6, and then with 9 wounds. That's why you're seeing a lot of them get in there. He's got a 4-up save, but as I said, most of the time you'll see that Armor of Ages on him, so you're not using it. Close order. The Cloud of Dust is a good one if you don't forget it, which is the -1 to hit you, which is good. Dry of Dust as well, unfortunately, so you are taking extra wounds from Flammable potentially. Nominal 2, Stomp attacks D6, and then he's got basically -2 AP attacks. But he does have the Breath weapon, which I've tried a few ways, but I haven't actually killed a lot. But it's multi-wound 2, -2 AP, strength 3, so not too bad really. If you're in most of the time, you'd rather just charge, but sometimes you don't want to, for certain reasons. So
multi-wound 2 probably won't come up that much, but
no, not against the stuff unless not with the strength 3, sort of doesn't combo well. But
and with my will be done, he's often going up to 1 with skill 5 anyways.
Exactly,
which is a nice break point.
Yeah, no, totally. He's fly 9 too, so if you're in the beginning parts of the game, you can get him to fly 10 with that as well, which is good.
The War Sphinx. 175 points. Toughness 6, 5 wounds. 2 Tomb Guard crew. What does it have? 4 attacks. You can buy a couple extra crew.
You can get up to 4 guys on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the upgrades are really worth it. You can give them a breath weapon. Or
fiery roar, flaming attacks -1. Yeah, not really.
Just to make one of its attacks. Yeah, that's a worse attack. So yeah, I don't know. They seem it's not as good as the dragon.
Nah, I mean
it's not as good as the dragon. It's not as good as the Necrosphinx. So
yeah, that's the thing with him. Yeah, I don't know if it's less points or better stomp attacks that would have made him see him used a bit more. I'm not sure. You just don't. Yeah, unfortunately, it just doesn't. It's one of those things. There's lots of options, and sometimes the third option doesn't get chose. That's probably why. Yeah. He's probably not bad, but yeah. Yeah, and now we get to one of the best. Well, I don't know. I'm still debating the best ones. But Tomb Scorpions, movement 7, strength 5, tough 5's awesome. Weapon skill 4. Unfortunately, down to 3 wounds. Used to be 4. 4 attacks, leadership 8. Monstrous creature. Now, obviously, you can take 5 points for ambushes. And then we've got... I'll just wait till Sean gets back.
I just gotta grab my charger.
You're right. Grab it. I'll keep going. Yeah, obviously this guy's got the strength. So strength 5 at AP -2, killing blow and monster slayer. So that's where this comes in really good. You can do a strike first poison attack with one of them. Again, depending, most of the time you're not doing that. Most of the time you're just going for your killing blows or your monster slayer at 70 points. I guess what I've found with these guys, they used to be 4 wounds, tough 5, and I believe that I might be wrong. I don't know if it's a 5-up. Can't remember what the save was, but they seemed a little more tankier. Oh, and when obviously you could ambush and charge in the same turn, so that was just broken, and that was awesome in 6.
Yeah.
In this version, you have to be a little bit more. Like, you just don't. If you throw them out there, they will still get killed because people need to kill them because if they get in combat with the monster slayer. So what I've been finding more is you be a little bit more cagey with them, and even maybe, depending on what you think the enemy's behemoths and stuff are doing, maybe you keep them back, and I haven't found too much that you can use the ambushes that effectively. Because usually when you plonk them down somewhere now, they're in range of, say, a war machine or something and they get shot. So it just depends. But yeah, they are well worth the 70 points and bring a couple,
Yeah, and the main thing for me, they're so fast.
Yeah,
right? Like you don't think that, like move 7 Swift Stride. Yeah,
and Vanguard.
As fast as cavalry and Vanguard. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, this thing, you put them down, that's why I don't mind dropping them, because you can drop, rather than ambush, you drop them, and they've got a Vanguard, so you don't have to Vanguard forward. You can, like, reposition a bit, and, you know, like, so heaps useful. Close order as well, which used to be good, but obviously they don't have the 5 wounds now, so that doesn't count. But Magic Res -1 too, and Stomp Attacks D3. So, you know, that's up to 7 Strength 5 hits you're getting on them.
Yeah. No, they're great.
Yeah.
Necro Colossus.
Giant.
This is a giant. What's he got going on? T6, only 5 wounds, 4 attacks, weapon skill 3.
He's indomitable too.
The paired?
Yeah, the paired. That's -2.
Doesn't give him an extra attack, but it requires 2 hands.
Yeah, but it's killing blows. I guess it depends what you throw him up against, I guess. But he's only got then 4 attacks.
Okay, and it's unstoppable assault when he charges.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
If he causes an unsafe move, he could make an additional attack. So that's.
It's one of these funny things. It would be funny to like take 2 of these. 160 points. He's probably pushing it. But you take 2 of these guys, throw them into a unit. Like even Cav, if you could get a charge off or something and just see if you can sit there and mow through them. Although, the Stomp Attacks don't. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, the Stomp Attacks don't do the unstoppable assault, but the others do. That'd be funny to killing blow at, strength 6 -2 AP. And you might get, I don't wonder how many, you might get 1 to 2 extra hits. You might be doing 6. Yeah, you might be getting upwards of 4 wounds, a go, and then the chances are, you got more chances to roll that killing blow as well. Be interesting. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad. The weapon skill 3 is a bit sad on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they seem, if not for the next one, I think you'd probably see more of them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the Necrosphinx, movement 6, weapon skill 4, strength 5, tough 6, wounds 6, which is the best bit. So they're, the full monster sort of that you want. And Venom Sting, pretty useless. But okay, the best thing about these is, well, 2 big things. The Fly 9's awesome. So again, you got a flying monster, another one flying around. Stomp attacks D3 plus 2 is good too, because you're reducing that.
So good.
You only got 5 attacks, but you've got a pretty good, you definitely got 3 stomps coming in at strength 5. Obviously -2 as well, AP. Now their normal attacks are killing blow, strength 6, -1, and then you've got one of them. It's an additional attack. So technically you got, I hate how some of these are like replace one of your attacks and others are like an additional attack. So technically you got 6 attacks. This guy though is at strength 9. 10 with -4 AP. So you roll an extra dice. It's strike last though, but it's killing blow and monster slayer. You just got to remember to put an extra little pink dice or something in. Roll it. That thing is wounding on 2s. No armor save, killing blow, or monster slayer. The only thing it doesn't like is chariots, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, not doesn't like. It'll still do damage.
It'll happily hurt them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
If you're not taking caskets and catapults, you can fit 2 of these guys in comfortably,
Yeah. They're just.
Oh, and this is the other one I always forget. Soul Reaper. At the beginning of the game, you pick a unit, a character, and you get to reroll any hits of natural 1 against that character. So I forget about it, but I've got it in my note sheet to always remember, because I feel like it's more of a psychological play. It's like pick a character you don't even intend to go into and just go, going to take him out, and then see if they avoid that, like screw them up the whole game, even though you had no intention of going over there.
Yeah. No, they're just so mobile with fly for 195 points. Fly and still toughness 6 wounds.
Yeah.
They're a bit crazy.
And 5 up regen. So and indomitable too. So they can take a charge and sit there for a couple of turns, even if they are getting beaten up,
Yeah. Screaming Skull Catapult. Only 105 points. You can upgrade them for 21 points to get Skulls of the Foe. I think that they're the same, pretty much the same as any other stone thrower.
I think so. Maybe I don't really use them yet.
But Skulls of the Foe is an interesting rule. After you have placed a template, so there's 2 things. They have Screaming Skulls, which is if you do wounds to a model, they have to take a panic test if they're taking heavy casualties.
Yep.
And then Skulls of the Foe is you roll 2d6 after you place this from the central hold the blast template, and you get a -1 modifier to leadership.
Yeah.
Which
and that
stacks
doesn't matter
nicely with the casket.
Yes, exactly. There's all that sort of stuff. So, and you don't even have to kill anything. It can scatter. It doesn't matter. It's still a pretty big, what can be big -1 leadership debuff. Yeah. So lots of ways to get leadership debuffs in this army. I think I did a video way back at the beginning of this edition, and which is like that terror bombing in Tomb Kings, and I think I think it's still all valid, which is kind of cool. Then you got the casket. Sorry, man, I seem to get the ones that I use, which is interesting. Casket is it's a war machine type thing, 135 points, indomitable 2, regen 5. It's a war machine, so skirmishes. Dries dusk. It's got 4 they're sort of like mini Tomb Guard, I guess. They're just tough 3, but great weapons, light armor. If it gets in combat, it tends to die pretty quick. But outside of that, though, the 2 big rules is Covenant Power. So within 12 inches of a Casket of Souls, Leech Priest gain +1 modifier to any of their casting rolls. And if the bound spells, friend or foe, same +1 to their casting bound spells. Doesn't apply to the bound spells of the casket. So what I've been doing, and as far as I know, is still legal, because there is some debate about when it says of a Casket of Souls. If I've got two of these guys and they're in range of both, you're starting to get +2 modifiers to your casts, which makes level 1s really useful because suddenly you're casting at level 3, which can be kind of cool. Immovable objects, just can't move them around in the remaining subphase. Again, there's some debate whether or not it means you can move them with other movement spells and stuff, but I think that's against the rules. It's still, I mean, the spirit of the rules, but I don't know. And then Unbound Spirit. So basically when it dies, roll d6 on a 4-up, within 12 inches, every unit, friend or foe, on it. So you roll a 4-up for each of those units, and then if it's a 4-up, it's strength 3 hits, no armor save, or regen saves. It's just like it blows up and kills people.
Yeah. Which is if the curse was more like that, it would be more useful.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not totally overpowered, but can do a bit of damage. I think that'd be cool. Then you get 2 of these power level 3 bound spells, which again is pretty cool because I think power level 2 is a bit iffy, but power level 3, you're sort of getting up there a bit.
Yeah, and their casting values are not high.
Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah, so casting value 7, magic missile, 36 inches. This is the Light of Death. Basically, that target enemy unit has to take a leadership test. If it's failed, it's D3 strength 3 hits, AP -1. So not bad. Like, it's crap, but I mean, if you hit a little unit of elves or something, it's still going to do 1 or 2 wounds. But if you fail, it's D6 +3. So at least 4, but upwards of 9 strength 6 hits, multi-wound 2, no armor or regen. So you can really do some, damage to a chunky target there with that one. But, you have to fail leadership tests. So therefore you start thinking about, well, do I throw, shoot a couple of caskets, catapults and fire this guy in, or necromancy spells as well is really useful with it. The Light of Protection, it's an enchantment, 8, casting value 8. That's just on self. It's a remains in play though. Once it's up, any friendly model within 18 inches has got a 6-up ward. So now a lot of your army's got 6-up, 6-up, which I think is 6-up, 6-up around the same as a 5-up.
Yeah.
Because I know a 5-up, 5-up is better than a 4-up. It is, yeah. So it's not too bad. And then now they've FAQ'd this. It doesn't stack. In addition, whilst this bound spell's in play, enemy units suffer -1 modifier to any rolls to hit against this model or any friendly unit within 18. So when you got a bubble, you used to be able to bubble them and have -2 hit, which is just crazy. But even -1, I'm finding with the 2 caskets, it's still not a waste because you get 2 chances to get this guy off. Now, the only thing to remember is you can't have, once this is up, if you then go in the next shooting phase and cast your Light of Death, it goes down. So that sucks a little bit, but it is what it is. I guess the non-stackable ability now does mean you could get Light of Protection up, and if you get it up on both caskets, for example, then you don't mind shooting 1 Light of Death spell because you can't buff it anyway.
You can't doubles. Yeah. I think they're great. And I think it's pretty permissive in that you get low Light of Protection up first.
Yes.
See if your necromancy spells go off, and then you choose whether to switch to Light of Death anyways. Yeah.
No, absolutely. You got all these extra. Yeah. It's not like you're having to gamble it, if it's worth doing or not at the time. 135 points. Obviously, the problem with all these are they're just sitting there, they're immovable. But I still think, like I've said multiple times on my podcast and talking about stuff, the ability to get the casting roll modifiers to me are some of the best value of that 135 points. And if I get those other spells off, then like the Light of Death, it used to be the Light of Death. I was like, I want to debuff you and hit you with the Light of Death. I find that's like my third option. My first option is I get them for the Covenant of Power. The second one is my -1 to hit. And then the third one, if I get a Light of Protection off at the right time, great. But I'm not bringing it for that, so it doesn't matter. And so I found they're quite useful still. Now that you can't, what I'm thinking about is now that you can't stack that -1 to hit, I'm like, do I just put them next to each other? Like, do I just have them close? Because sometimes you have them out like this, and they're end up being on flanks and getting attacked. And so now I'm starting to think, what happens if you put them
just have them centrally?
Even if one can't shoot through because like it's behind, who cares? Like they're stacked right close, and to get to them, you need to get through my big skeleton block on one side and my dragon on the other, or whatever it is, that type of thing. So I've been thinking about that as a deployment. I don't know if I haven't actually done that yet, but I'm like, it might be useful,
Yeah.
Because when someone gets in combat with them, they're dead. They don't cause terror or anything anymore. So, just quickly, the Law of Neokara too. The ones you can switch down to, we should cover. We have 3 spells here. So Jeff's, a lot of people call this Jeff's, Incantation of Cursed Blades. It's a 7-up. Enchantment, basically until you start of turn sub phase. Your next one, any friendly unit within the caster's command range, so that's usually 7 or 8 inches, depending on, unless you're a general, is reroll 2 hits of a natural 1. So again, that can buff nicely with shooting, but also combat. So you do generally see that depending on what you're doing. So it's a good one to drop to. Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, Kasar's Incantation of the Desert Wind. 2 different casting values, 6 up or 10 up. It's an enchantment, and everyone. So it's either give single friendly unit reserve move, or if you go on the higher casting value, everyone within command range reserve move, which is real good. So
that's only the end of this turn though for that one, but still, exactly. Getting reserve move on all your army, well, at least within your 7 or 8 inch bubble.
Yeah, or if you have a high priest on the dragon.
Yes, on the 18. Dragon, that's even better. Yeah, it's 18. Yeah, very good then. Because again, there's lots of reasons to put him on dragon, which is I haven't done, but I do have a dragon here that I've got to paint with the dude on top. So I might have to get him done at some point to try it out.
Yeah, I think those are 2 great spells to be able to switch to. I think you'll do that fairly often.
Yeah, definitely. These are the 2 that you generally see. The other one's a bit like is it Curse of Years in the necromancy spells? Basically 15-inch range hex, casting value 10, quite high, but it's -1 debuff to the unit's strength and toughness. End of this turn only. So it's okay. I've taken it occasionally when I didn't roll up the other one, and I wanted to. I think when I thought I had more chance of like if I'm taking, fighting dwarves or something where I want them down to toughness 3 because I'm shooting them with my archers. But it's definitely the lower of the 3. I think it's just such high casting value too for what, like especially if you can't switch to this with your level 1, for example. So
but -1 strength, again, that's actually pretty great too. And don't think you can target units that are in combat though. And it's only 15-inch range.
I think I'm trying to remember which the necromancy one. Can you do that, or is it? I might be getting confused with the other debuff it has in there that you can do it in combat.
Some of them
depends which one. So the thing with these, and this is why I sort of get back to thinking about whether or not, again, I love this army because there's heaps of different builds. I wonder if one of the army builds is you take a lot more like level 1s and hammer around caskets, and you can take more of these like little spells and use them. You really like level 1s you don't take usually, but in an undead army, especially Tomb Kings, because you're trying to just throw out rise spells and keep everyone alive, they're actually quite useful. If you get a spell off, great. But if you got a spell off because you get +3 to cast because you're near a casket, well, suddenly you're quite useful, even though you've only got 1 spell. Some of these 2 at the back here, you don't even need to be in, like you can just be behind the unit, touched right up against the unit. So now it can't even give ground anyway because you're stuck behind it. And you're just sitting there arising units and giving them -1 to hits or reserve move to move everyone up, so.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
It's an interesting use for them for sure.
Cool. Well, we're smashing through. Let's quickly jump then. So to had it up here. We'll try smash through this. It's the first Arcane Journal. I know I don't want to. Well, it's gone to the wrong one. Why did that not stay? Okay. Can you see that? Why is it zoomed? I need to zoom it in. Oh, hang on. No. Sorry, this is the actual iBook, the ebook from. Can I zoom it? Doesn't look very zoomable. Can you read that?
Not really, but I pulled it up myself too.
Okay.
That's funny that
people are watching, but
yeah,
this one is not. Yeah, where are we? Oh well, we'll have to go with it, guys. Sorry, I probably can't bring that. I don't know how I can.
Yeah.
Really weird. Oh, hang on. Controls. Surely there's a zoom button. No, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. Off zoom. Windows. Nah, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, Royal Host. 1+ Tomb King or Tomb Prince. You can't take a High Priest. What's really happening? And then 33% of your army is core. 1+ unit of skeleton
I
chariots.
See that a lot. Yeah.
You can take Tomb Guard chariots. Then your skeletons. The skeleton infantry and cavalry are both a little bit different.
Yeah.
Specials. Some more Tomb Guard, your Shapti, Necropolis Knights. Less scorpions in this list.
Yeah.
Some more Sphinxes. And then in rare,
just
take a whole bunch of catapults. Yeah.
Yeah,
but right. no casket, no necrosphinx.
Yeah. So this doesn't have any of the sort of constructs, hey? They're not there. Just trying to think if there's anything else with them. Yeah, but the 33% core is interesting, but obviously these, you can pack it full of chariots, obviously, and you've got these Tomb Guard chariots, which are interesting. And obviously you don't have the magic as such, which is an interesting thing. This is really not working, this thing. Why is that not moving? Oh, that way. Well, let's look at the rules quickly for them. Grind them down. Whilst within General's command range, friendly models whose troop type is chariot may re-roll the dice when rolling number of impact hits. So that obviously synergizes well with a crap ton of core chariots, which is pretty cool. Although I don't know which ones. Who has that? That whole thing, does it? Yeah, this is the rule. Sorry. Yes, that's okay. Yeah. Yep.
Just manage, the language of the priest. Your Tomb King or Tomb Prince, who is the general for 35 points, can have the Arise special rule and maybe a level 1 wizard with knowing spells from the law of necromancy, and then becomes the army's hierophant.
And he can wear armor with penalty as well. Yeah. So kind of interesting, because you put that dude on the Bone Dragon still. Can he go on? He can go on the Bone Dragon. Hey, and he's probably not going to die anyway. It's sort of interesting. Plus can raise himself up a little bit. It's kind of interesting. What's that?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's
lay in wait. 0 to 1 unit of skeleton skirmishers may have the ambush special rule. Okay, yeah, for free. Usually you could pay for that, but it's just giving that a bit option. Same thing with the other one.
Same thing for chariot runners.
Yeah.
And then
this is cool. Steadfast discipline.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that one?
A unit with a special rule can volley fire during a turn in which it moved or was performing a stand and shoot charge reaction. So it's
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Turning you into a bit of a gun line.
Yeah. Which is cool because, you could argue that, this is not just chariots. You can take a lot of chariots, but you can also just take a lot of skirmish, like the skeleton cohorts and archers, and sit back and just be shooting a lot. Which is kind of interesting. Let's just maybe for the mortuary pros, maybe I'll just look at the units that were in that one.
Yeah, sounds good.
If I can find them. Wasn't that one? So the cohorts here. So basically, this is those mixed units where you can have, or motley crew, whatever it is. So you can have regular infantry. You can have warriors with the thrusting spears, light armor, and shields, and then you can have the light armor and war bows. A skeleton infantry cohort must contain at least 10 royal host warriors and 10 royal host archers. The spearmen always are in the front ranks, pushing the royal archers to the back. But because of that volley fire rule, I guess they all shoot half of their ranks, I guess, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty, and unless it's against a large target, then they can all shoot as well. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think, it's a cool, it's a very unique option.
Yeah. And the other thing is the Master of Arms may purchase a magic item of 30 points, which I believe is what?
The poison.
The poison banner.
Yeah, the poison staff thing.
Amulet of Serpent is 30 points. So, yeah, you're able to, without using a character, have something in here that has poison attacks. So, very cool tanky unit, plus dealing out damage. I really should play this. I need to play both of these armies. I haven't actually. I've just been playing the standard army.
Yeah, the no high priest just feels a bit tricky.
A little limiting. Yeah. But I think if you go to that idea of saying, well, I don't care, I'm not going to play with, I just need my Rise spell, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah. And then the other one that is in this list is the Tomb Chariots.
And the Cavalry cohort.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Cavalry cohort.
Which, skip over them. Tomb Guard Chariots, basically just Tomb Guard on Chariots. So your Chariots,
slightly more D3 plus 1 impact hits. I don't know how, and they got a 4-up save.
D3 plus 1, it's 10 points more. 1 higher weapon skill as well, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it definitely, if you're taking the Royal Host, I think that they look really good.
It'd be cool if you could paint these as one unit, and have 53 point chaff, but D3 plus 1 impact hits. And cool. But cool. So that's those guys. Don't know if I'll have time to go through the bloody characters, but let's smash the Mortuary Cult. Do you want to take? Oh, you took the other one. I'll take this quickly. But this actually you take, because it seems like this is the one you're interested in.
This I'm so interested in. So your Lich Priest is your Hierophant, and they're also the General. So you can't take a Tomb. Can't take a Tomb King. Yeah. Can't take a Tomb Prince. You get a new character, an Arch Necrotect, who I don't think is that good. Again, 33% core. No chariots in core, right?
No, that's right. Yeah,
but you can take Ushabti.
These guys. Yep,
Ushabti and Necroserpents, which are a special unit for them, which are basically just the snakes with no riders. And then, especially, you have to take
as well.
Tomb Scorpions, 1 per 1,000 points. You get the new Venerable Ushabti.
I didn't even pick that up. So you can take Tomb Swarms in. Oh, sorry, Tomb Scorpions. You have to take. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Yes, you're right. Sorry, special. Yep, you've got to take at least 1 Scorpion per 1,000. Yep.
And then you can take a Colossus or a Necrosphinx as one as a special choice.
So you can get 3 or more. You can get 3 Necrosphinx in this list.
Yes. And then, you can take Caskets and Catapults. And I think there's and the Mortuary Priest can be your battle standard bearer as well.
BSB,
which isn't so nice.
Maybe I should skip playing Tomb Kings.
And your rare allotment is higher.
33%. Yes.
So you can fit in a lot of Necrosphinxes.
Yep. Well, because you're not. Well, you can have and you got the dragon. You can have the High Priest and the dragon. Like it. So rules here: authority of the Hierophant must include at least 1 Leech Priest to be the Hierophant, and the Hierophant of a Mortuary Cult army must be its general, even if they're not the character with the highest leadership. So it's basically it's a fluff thing.
Harmonious incantations. They can use. The Lich Priest within the Mortuary Cult army uses the Arise special whilst within the command range of 1 or more other friendly Lich Priests. They recover the wounds recovered is increased by 1, which is
that's powerful when you're doing it on bloody monsters.
Exactly. Yeah, you're doubling your heals.
Yeah, that's really good. Sepulchral Animus. Before making a casting roll, any leech priest with a mortuary cult may draw upon the magical animus of any nearby constructs. If so, you nominate friendly, basically construct within the command range, which is actually whose troop type swarm, monstrous infantry, monstrous cav, monstrous creature, or behemoth. So not just technically the old school constructs. The nominated unit loses 1 to 3 wounds as chosen by a controlling player, and then you add that to modify the casting roll. So you can, if you really need to get a spell off, you have to do it before making the roll. You can really throw that out there and see what you want to do. It's kind of interesting, especially because you can heal them back next turn.
Okay, so you can't do it on regular infantry. So you really need to take the swarms.
Yeah, basically. So just sit them back there and then just heal them back up.
Okay, yeah. Because that makes your spells very reliable.
Yep.
If you know that you're then going to heal them back up. Yeah. And then Terrors Below. Any Tomb Scorpions or units of Necroserpents, you can have this roll for +2 points per model. When they're being placed on the battlefield from beneath the sands, you can nominate a single enemy unit that's within 8 inches, and his troop type is regular or heavy infantry. You immediately make a number of initiative tests equal to the unit strength of this unit. And for each test that is failed, a single model is removed from play as a casualty. So that's pretty crazy that there's no saves at all.
Yeah, when I first read this, I thought it was the initiative tests of the unit strength that you're actually doing it against.
Oh, the roll against.
I realized it's just the unit strength. So the Tomb Scorpions have unit strength 3 or whatever it is. It's probably useless. But the Necroserpents are 3, but obviously you take them in unit. So it's cool. But again, it's so matchup dependent. If you're playing a lot of dwarves, it's great, but you just still need to bring in 3 Necroserpents to make them take 9 initiative tests. But I mean, you wipe people out.
Yeah.
But it's still, I don't know. It's probably not as crazy as I thought it was.
It does make it makes you put your characters in units.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
Because you don't want, even if you're an initiative 5 elf and a Tomb Scorpion comes up,
you don't want to take a 1 in 6 to get.
You don't want to take or 3 1 in 6s. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let's have a look at those new. Yeah, that was the first one. So this Arch Necrotect, and I did hear you say that you weren't sure about him. I'm not sure about him either. He's 90 points, so he's nearly double the other guy. He's probably a little bit. He's got 3 wounds, which is pretty good. His main thing is these 2 rules. So he doesn't have. I would have liked it if he was classed as a Necrotech and he had the Necrotech.
Also had the Necrotech rule. Yes. Yeah.
But he doesn't. So during the command subphase, the character can drive a single friendly unit within the command range by making a leadership test. If so, it's for a turn, for the whole round, they get plus D3 initiative. Okay, so I mean, it's interesting, but you really need to be you're so low leadership anyway. You really need to be throwing this, or maybe even doubling these guys up to try and get high initiatives. And I'm not sure if trying to buff your initiatives is that great with undead anyway. Half the time you still don't beat people. Your Necrosphinx initiative 1. So you have to throw a few of these on to even get close to going first. Stone Shaper. This is interesting. Any friendly. So if this guy's not in combat, may nominate a single friendly Necrosphinx like Giant, Necrosphinx, Sharpty, or Venerable Sharpty, and their regen saves go up by 1. To me, that feels useful on the bigger ones that have regen 5 because then you get them to 4. But I don't know. I don't get this guy too much. I don't know. I'm a bit confused, but I have seen out of the list, and I probably just haven't put enough mortuary cult lists together. When I've seen people putting them together, I've seen some lists taking multiple of these guys. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I
don't get it. Right, game. He's almost half the cost of a Necrosphinx.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'll just buy another necrosphinx.
Now, if he was a necrotech as well, I'd be like, okay, this is interesting. Like he's souped up and he's causing hatred as well, and +1, and he's 3 wounds. Like, yeah, I don't know. Venerable or Sharpty?
Yeah, they're pretty interesting. So for 56 points, you gain a weapon skill and a strength, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think that's
Magic
about it.
Res 2? Are the other
Yeah,
ones?
I think that's higher. I think they're just one. Same weapons. So yeah, I mean, strength 7 is nice sometimes. I mean,
they've still got the same
want these
issue
guys
that they
fighting
die
dragons
pretty quick.
anyways.
Yeah. No, I know. That's the only problem. Like, I think if Monstrous Infantry was somehow better in the game, for whatever reason, or how, like, maybe, even if, in the old, like, 8th, all Monstrous Infantry got stomps and stuff, those type of things. Like, I feel like, I don't know. That's just, but I mean, again, you can throw these in core, so like it still might be okay if you're really going heavy. But
I don't think these ones aren't in core. I think the venerables are specials.
Sorry, okay, got confused. Yeah.
Otherwise, that would look really good, and nice. Yeah.
I love how their representation is. I just put it on a scenic base.
Paint it fancy and put it on a fancy base. Yeah. Exactly.
That's funny.
You can also take the necroserpents.
Yeah. Oh, you can do that.
Which I think so it's weapon skill 3, strength 5, 3 attacks, 38 points. Has poison attacks, an impact hit 1. Armored hide 1, so I think it only has a 6 up. I think it gets a 6 up save, 6 up regen. So pretty squishy, but they are they're a good unit for whatever that was, from beneath the sands or.
And Swiss Stride, move through cover, open order.
Yeah.
A little bit more maneuverable. Unit strength 2. Obviously, if you're teaming them up with that longer the brooch to drop them in further ambushes, and then obviously with the but that's 25. What's the extra points to plus 2 points, so 40 points if you want to do that beneath the sands attack stuff as well. So interesting. Again, I haven't really used them too much, so I don't know. Like, I haven't done the mortuary cult list, so I haven't used them, so I'm not sure how useful they are. And then we get some extra magic items. So for magic weapons, we get a 45-point sword, or whatever the hell it is, blade. Strength +1, -1 AP magic attacks. Can only be in the Neocaran Royal Host. Each wound the enemy unit loses as a result of an attack made with this, the wielder immediately recovers a single lost wound. So a little bit way to raise yourself up. I don't know, 45 points. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is good if you're whacking them on your dragon tomb king dude at 45 points. I don't think you'd have the points. I think just raise him up normally or don't die.
Conqueror's Blade. Strength +2 if you want to do Killing Blow. But strikes last. Requires 2 hands. In a challenge, you Killing Blow on a 5-up. And if you kill the animal's general in a challenge, you get an extra 100 victory points. It's just too expensive for something that's
too expensive. I mean, most of the giant generals are going to be on a dragon, so Killing Blow is not going to work.
Yeah.
If that was Monster Slayer, that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. That would make it, that'd be very interesting. Because it's still very good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 55 points, so you just start losing. You don't have what you need, to stay alive and all that sort of stuff. Phalanx Blade of Justice, Facts Blade of Justice. I don't know how to say that. 35 points. Strength as user, magical attack. So what's this thing? So you can only put it on infantry type, and it's +1 attack for each rank and enemy unit. Oh, so you're fighting basically you go good if you're fighting a unit.
Infantry. Yeah.
I guess if you put this on a herald or something that's in a unit, so you're probably fighting another infantry unit. But again, I don't know.
Yeah, spending 35 points.
I'd rather give it poison or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. The Staff of Neons. Strength only be taken by a Lich Priest in a mortuary cult. And if you hit one or more, if you hit someone, they're -1 to their armor. Yeah,
for the range. Does that stack then and keep stacking? Does it?
I guess so. No, hit by one or more close combat attacks.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it doesn't stack, and it's on your Lich Priest.
Yeah, probably not worth it. Royal Mantle, so we're going to armor, 40 points, only on the new current Royal Host. So this is like this Arcane Journal. I'm not sure of the Brett one because I've got it, but I've hardly read it. I feel like these first two were a bit like this, and then the next, like orcs,
and very restrictive.
Dwarves aren't as restricted, so kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe worn with the name of armor. The wearer of the Royal Mantle improves the armor value by 1. In addition, my will be done special rule or affects all friendly units within the current undead special rule within 6. Not just a unit they've joined. Like, I think that's pretty cool. Again, I haven't used it I haven't played that army yet, but it would be, because that was one cool thing with 6, you know, your might will be done. You could cast it on people who you aren't with. So, you know, I guess if you weren't going the big, if you weren't trying to be the idiot and go re-roll, you know, the Armor of Ages, could you put this on your Tomb King on the Dragon? So now he's got, like, does he get a 3-up save then? And then tough 6, he's still got a 5-up regen, or you can even still give him a 5-up, 5-up. So he's less tank, like he's less survivable, but you can really throw out that weapon skill bar for the movement even, and you know, play around with that. Might be worth it, but not sure.
Yeah. The Warning Splint for 35 points is a suit of heavy armor, which may be worn by a Lich Priest. And gives them, with armor or shield of binding without penalty. So with the without penalty to their casting of magic is what
is applied there. This guy. Yeah. So 35 points to get a 5-up, 5-up, 5-up on your Leech Priest.
Yeah, that's good. So, good if he's on a dragon. Good otherwise too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an auto take on my Hierophant because you just need to stay alive. Yeah. Then obviously we covered this one. 30 points. Amulet the Serpent. The unit gets poison attack. So unfortunately, obviously it's too expensive to throw on a champ in the general sort of army list, but yeah, you can get it on the Royal Host one easy. Yeah, it's good.
Relic of the Desert Sun, not subject to dry dust or flammable. I feel like there's other better defensive items you can buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but like, yeah, exactly. You need to use
other It's only stuff, working against flaming attacks.
Yeah. Royal Standard of Cetra is 50 points. Only on the. Is this only on the?
Only if you
it's
take
only
Cetra.
On an army that takes Nikaf or Cetra, which is even more limited. The unit carrying the Royal Standard gains hatred, enemy characters, and terror. I mean, no, thanks. No.
Yeah.
It's got every condition under the sun.
Yeah. I think, though, if you were taking Cetra, you might take it.
Yeah. I just wish it was gains hatred of everything. Like, why just enemy characters?
Yes, that would, the Sigil of Centuries. Enemy units within 6 inches of -1 to their initiative. Your initiative's so low that
it needs to be cheaper or do worse. D3 or I don't know. Yeah. Tapestry Conquered Lands. This is the one I want to talk about a little bit. 35 points. Enemy standing captured by a unit carrying this gets extra 100 victory points. I made a mention of this when we were talking about the Dwarf book. I feel like once this game's out, these items are going to be quite interesting because I feel like the victories seem so tight that if you could come up with a good unit that is designed to go around and eat, especially if it ended up being like MSU and the scenarios made people bring banners, it'd be interesting for 35 points to try have a unit that can, even if it takes out 2 banners a game, that's massive swing to your victory points, you know. But I feel like, unfortunately, the units that can take a banner, it's like, unless it's chariots, which you can really go in and like smash things, keep going, get something else, smash things. It's a little bit harder to guarantee that you're going to wipe out a unit with a banner. Like, that's the same problem with it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, interesting. So the Bretonians have the Conqueror's Tapestry, which is
Right. Okay.
40 points and does the exact same thing.
The
So a slightly different
Tapestry of
name.
Conquered Lands, and the other one's they probably stole it off each other. They probably stole it
Yeah,
from Nekara. Is that what happened?
I guess so. Yeah.
Or maybe they got half the tapestry each. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. They just repeated the items. Band of the Desert wins. Was infantry only gains Vanguard and Reserve move, which I think is pretty great. Yeah, for 30 points.
Again, especially like you could put these on those cohorts as well in that other army as well, on the champion if you wanted or whatever, and be able to Vanguard shoot them up. That's pretty cool. Staff of Awakening, 50 points. High Priest only. When they do the Arise on infantry or cav, it recovers an additional D3 wounds. So it's pretty expensive, to be honest, and it's an enchanted. I don't know. It seems too expensive for me. For nearly 5 points more, you just get another Mortuary Priest, don't you? Is that what it was? Or the Mortuary Priest 65?
No, they're 55.
Oh, they have, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah.
The Orb of Petra. Enemy shooting attacks the target, the character they have joined an additional -1 to hit modifier. That's
just -1. Oh no, it's shooting phase. Damn. I mean,
just shooting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's now, because there was a banner in the main book, and then also the casket. That's a lot of -1s to shooting.
Yeah, but that's like BS shooting isn't like, if it was prevalent or you're always going, I was gonna say going against Wood Elves, but then they're just hitting on their normal hits anyway, so probably so.
Yeah, and I'll just raise the skeleton spec.
I know. That's what you're shooting at. Yeah. Pezeract Canopy.
I was calling those phaser cats.
Oh, is that what is that?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Points. Single use. Basically, unleash it with a leadership test. I should say, actually, probably didn't cover that right at the beginning. These leadership tests for Arise and all that, they're on your own leadership, not your general. So it's not leadership 10. Mm-hmm. That's why that BSP is even more critical. FYI, probably should have pointed that out. If this test passes, you can place a unit of 2d6 plus 3 summon skeletons anywhere within 12 inches, but they're just skeleton warriors, not worth any victory points. 40 points. It's cool, but I don't know. I don't know. I'd have used it.
Yeah, I would love to use this item, but it's an arcane item.
Yeah,
and you're going to take there's other more important arcane items. If it was
good,
yeah, if it was an enchanted item, I would love to take this because I think that's super nice for summoning things up and move blocking.
Move blocking, and then the fact you could keep raising them back, and they're not getting any victory points out of them.
Yeah, and it's
nice and interesting.
Yeah, and like 12 inches away, that could be behind the enemy. Yeah, but it's not it's like the third string arcane item. Yeah,
I would have liked it if it wasn't one use only. Then I would have loved it. But
Curse Weaver's Wand plus a modifier to casting hexes for 20 points. Seems okay.
And there's some good hexes in some of their spell decks. So I think it was, like that signature spell, which is hard to cast, and the Curse of Years, and the other leadership debuff, the -2 leadership debuff. So again, pretty useful.
I always find with these ones though, it's 30 points just to get a whole nother level of magic though, which also gives you +1 to cast. So
true.
Yeah.
The ones I do like, which aren't these, but the orc ones and stuff or whatever, where you're getting the +3 inches to dispel or cast, I think they're useful because then you're staying out of range. Tablets of Tahoth, common magic item. Before making casting a roll, you just get +1 to your modifier. It looks like you can stack that. Is that right? Yeah, any number of their tablets. But again, there's 20 points, so you're right. Like, it's a lot.
It would be good if you could add it after.
Yeah, see what you roll.
Right. Yeah. Then it would be.
Well, we're getting on here, but maybe we'll just quickly smash through our thoughts. But actually, let me just smash through Cetra. So he's the big 4 chariot guy. obviously it's Cetra. Do you watch Mountain Miniatures battle reports?
A few of them, yeah. Not,
yeah. Did you see the one where what's his name? Oh god, now my brain's dead.
no.
What's the other guy that plays against
Yeah.
him? What's his name?
I can't
I've got a
remember.
mental block. He's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, he plays Tomb Kings all the time. And the other day in their army showcase, he read out that huge Cetra's name, and it went for like 6 minutes. It was so good.
Okay.
Have you seen his actual name? Do you know about that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to look that up.
Okay.
If you look it up, the Cetra's, like it's like the pre-title that whenever you mention Cetra, you're supposed to read out his full list of accomplishments.
The full
and it's like friggin' massive.
titles upon titles. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's quite funny to go look that up if you haven't seen it. But he's 445 points, 4 chariots in this massive 100 by 150 block. He's a level 1 wizard. So Command of Legions, he can cast the Arise, even if he's in combat. That's because that's a big thing. Like you can't heal yourself if you're in combat as a mortuary priest, I'm pretty sure. He doesn't kneel, so he has to accept a challenge unless Nakaf's there who can do it on his behalf. And then he must be the army's general, even if he does not have a level. Highest level. In addition, Cetra has a command range of 18, even though he's not a large target as such. He's Indomitable 3, 2-3 impact hits, 5 up. My Will Be Done. I thought this guy's My Will Be Done could be
better.
I've got more here, hang on. He's got more rules, sorry. Chariot of the Gods. Impact hits caused by this have flaming attacks and magical special rules. And he can also join a Tomb Guard chariot unit. So you can put him in there as well, which would be pretty cool. And then he's got, here it is. Cetra's My Will Be Done can also affect other people around him within 6 inches. And then the Scarab Brooch gives him 5 up ward. And then his blade is strength as user, so strength 6, -3 AP, flaming attacks, magical weapons, and then -1 to hit him when both shooting and combat. Oh, sorry, -1 modified to its rolls to hit. For the remainder of the game when you do attacks with it. So like he seems like a pretty interesting character. I don't think he's OP by any means. For 445 points.
445 is a lot.
8 wounds, 5 up regen, 5 up ward. I've got one. I need to finish painting him. I feel like because I don't mind. He's a bit derpy, the actual old lead pit, metal version of him, and his chariot's okay. The horses obviously suck. So I was going to like join the horses from one of those other ones that are better and make a new version of him because I think I'd like to try run him just for the narrative part. I think he's still pretty good. But he's just not OP. Have you looked at any of these guys?
The Scarab guy looks not good.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have any damage.
Yeah. The worst thing too I don't like about him is his initiative. Because I actually was thinking of taking this guy in a tournament just for fun because he's fly 9, ambusher, indomitable 2, regen 5. He's got terror, so you fly around just like terror bomb little units. -1, reroll hits and wounds against characters. But he's initiative 1, so it doesn't matter what you're charging. They're probably hitting you first, and he's only tough 3. He does have 4 wounds, but he's going to die. But he just
has a hand. I guess he has a Kopesh hand weapon.
Yeah. I think if he had a little bit more initiative, he might be 130 points. It's definitely a fluff, not even fluff. It's just be a fun. I just thought it'd be cool to have this little dude flying around. Trying to take on some random stuff at the back, but he's trying to get the wizard. He's trying to hang out somewhere near some back unit, but he'll die. And then you got Emissary of. I need to finish painting this guy because he's the new figure they brought out. Do you want to cover him quickly? And then we'll call it. Almost.
So Nakaf, I think he's got a standard Herald stat line, but he has regen 5+.
Can you read that? Is that too hard? I can read it.
No, I got it. He's got Killing Blow, so that's nice. Herald of Despair. An enemy unit does base contact with him or unit is joined. Rolls an extra d6 when taking Fear or Terror and discards the lowest, which could be good. He must always issue and accept challenges, and they cannot be refused. And his cunning blows hit on 5s. Cunning blows are on 5s, not just 6s. And his flail, strength +2, AP -2, multi-wounds 2, requires 2 hands. So that's not bad.
Yeah, multi-wounds 2. Yeah, he's actually, when I'm reading this, he's actually better than I thought. Like, can you use that Herald of Despair? That's interesting.
Yeah, that seems good because you'll actually outnumber people.
Yeah, if you put him in a unit of 2, or even just shitty skeletons.
Yeah.
And then come in again with some terror bombing or whatever.
He also feels like he should get to ride a chariot.
I know. I was going to say that you can't do that because then he would be in the same unit as. Like, when's he ever in the same fight?
He's never in the same unit as Cetra. Yeah.
Although, does Cetra cause terror?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
so maybe
I
that's
assume
what
so. Maybe he doesn't. Does Cetra cause terror?
Right.
He must.
Oh, how does he not? He doesn't. Oh, God. That's sad.
Okay.
Because I was thinking that'd be cool to have, like, Nakaf in a big unit of skeletons or whatever, and then you come in with Cetra causing terror and like, but I mean, you just use a dude on dragon and see if you can wipe people out. He's a great looking figure. I just, I haven't used any of these characters yet, which is a bit of a shame. Whereas some of the other ones I've thought, like the Orc one, you would use some of their characters, you know. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting on. Maybe we should just quick a summary. Like, what do you think? You're obviously going to start them. What were you looking at? One of these armies of infamy? Or
I was looking at Mortuary Cult more.
I think that's definitely the popular one by looking at the lists that people generally do.
Yeah, I think the casting is quite strong with them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that the Grand Army just has a lot of options anyway. So
that's what I've been. See, I've been stuck in that land just because I've I still don't feel like I've explored all the different like core options or like going different ways. Maybe if I do get my Leech Priest on Dragon done, maybe I will then start playing around with some different lists on these guys. But then I used to love running Chariots in 6, so I feel like, and I've gone off that with 8s. I mean, with Old World, so now I'm like, well, maybe I should force myself to play the Royal Host and take some of these Chariot heavy armies and just see what happens. But obviously they're pretty competitive because of that dragon build and they're sitting up there, but they're also quite popular. Our tournament next week, I think they're the highest. Them or Orcs, I think, are the sort of tied for top in terms of numbers. There's no surprise, because they're a launch army and then the others are just popular. As I said, once the game's fully out, it'd be interesting to see where these guys sit because I don't think there's anything massively OP'd in this list apart from, I wouldn't even call it OP, but it's a bit annoying with the re-rolled wounds against the dragon. You take that out. And then they're a little bit less, they're a bit more vulnerable to some things. So it'd be interesting to see where they end up power-wise when everything gets their other armies, and other banners and everything they're going to get.
Yeah, I think because as long as I think Vampire Counts being whatever they are, Legacy gives Tomb Kings a bit of a shot in the arm.
True.
Right, if you want to play Undead, they're the easier choice to play, potentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. No, cool, man. Oh, well, hopefully people like that. It was, I felt like I had a little bit, I don't know, hopefully I was trying to rush a little bit, but still 2 hours or whatever. Also feel like there was a few more things that we had to say because we knew we played them. Now that we're doing these faction focuses 6 months in, and you've played some of these things, you start seeing how they work. But, I also think 6 months in, we're starting now to see people start branch out a bit more and there's still more builds in here and different flavors to play, which is going to be good. It's not always just the one build. So I like it. Cool.
Yeah, I like it. Well, yeah, they're cool because they're pretty balanced, right? They got a lot of options. You can have some shooting. You can go a lot of shooting if you really want to, but
Yeah.
And they also have
Yeah,
some good
and whereas
combat units.
in 8th it had to be shooting, wasn't it? Whereas now, like, I haven't even pulled my catapults out yet, so I need to. There's so many options I can do. And I went through my list the other day of all the stuff I haven't painted yet, and I'm like, oh god, there's still so much.
Yeah.
Because I haven't used any of the snakes because they haven't looked that good. I'm like, maybe I should pull them out and stop trying to play like hard lists and just have some more thematic ones, different themes. So I should do that occasionally. Anyway, cool. Thanks, Sean, so much for
thanks.
bit of a lifeline on our faction focuses, man.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you
worries.
very much.
Happy to
we'll
come
try
on.
to get another in the next month or so. Try another one. I'd like to get through them all. It'd be at least this year. It'd be good. But yeah, if it's the first time watching us, check out the playlist wherever I'll put it for the other ones. And Sean's been on a couple. Like, subscribe, obviously, help us get our followers up. And if you haven't checked our podcast out, it's obviously on YouTube, but it's also just on iTunes and wherever else you get your podcasts. And check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/oldworldfanatics if you want to get involved a little more. Other than that, Sean, I'll let you get back to your Thursday night, and I've got my afternoon to sort out on Friday here. So I'll see you on the next one, mate. Cheers.
All right. Thanks for having me on.